Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today in War Thunder we are back on the second dev server for updates 1.91 and it's time to have a look at the G-LYNX. Now the G-LYNX is the new premium helicopter that is coming to the British tree in update 1.91. It's also the crowning jewel of the tree as well, since unfortunately it's better than the Lynx AH Mark 1. If you compare the two statistically, all you can see really is that this gets access to TOW 4, 2s and Hellfires and also the Stingers, whereas the G-LYNX, it doesn't get access to the TOW 4s, but what it does get access to are the Hellfires, which are the cream of the crop, and then the Stingers as well. And the G-LYNX also has some speed on it, so at least you can make arguments between which is better, but in my opinion the G-LYNX is better compared to the other helicopter at the top of the British tree. If we have a look at the G-LYNX, it's powered by two engines, the Rolls-Royce GE M60s, both producing 1185 horsepower, very powerful. And then you have the transmission, of course, for the rotor blades, massive fuel tanks all over the damn thing, and of course, two sets of people. You got the pilot, and then you got the gunner. Simple as that. On top of this as well, as we already talked about, the armaments that are involved on this machine. First of all, you have flares, which are lovely to see. And then, of course, you have a selection. You can either take an Oerlikon Cat B with some Hydras. Then you've got the cannon and some Stingers and Hydras. Then the cannon once again, Stingers and TOWs, which is probably the one that most people are going to go for. Then you've got the cannon, the Stingers, and the TOWs, and the Hellfires, sorry. Then you've got the air-to-airs and just the Hydras, the air-to-airs and the TOWs, and the air-to-airs and, of course, the Stingers. So the question is, do you want to drop two Stingers for a cannon? That's basically what you have to decide for yourself. Is it better to have an Oerlikon Cat B, or is it better to have two Stingers? Because there's no way you take anything else apart from either this configuration or the configuration which has four Stingers instead. If we have a look at the other stuff, you have a bunch of flares on the vehicle, and I just want to show you the gun itself, just so I can give you a general idea of how it fires and stuff before we go into any of the other things available for the vehicle. So let's just take off and just slowly have a look at this machine. If you want to have a look at the cockpit, it is a placeholder, so that is something to think about. And also, have I got the flare button? Oh dear, not that one. I'll just check real quick. I think I have flares mapped. There we go. Oh god. Sometimes it can be a pain with, it's nice having all of these, controls in War Thunder, but at the same time, it can be a little bit annoying. So there you go. There's the flares, which are always wonderful. The cannon is like this. So as you can see, very similar to some other ones that we have. It has over 500 rounds of ammunition. Make sure not to jam it though. That is a bit of a problem. So yeah, that's how the cannon is. And I think personally, I would take the cannon along with the Stingers and along with the Hellfires, mainly because of how good these Stingers are at killing stuff. They can turn 18 Gs, they can pull hard in the overall battlefield, and they have a great lock-on range as well if you look at their general usefulness. They've also increased the Hellfire damage that you can get from these on the second dev server, so that is something to look forward to. And look at the damn penetration on these things, 1100 millimeters, meaning that they're really not going to stop anything. The cannon itself, though, when we look at it, all it is the Cat B, and the Stinger information, as you can see, it locks on in the rear aspect, it's 7 kilometers. Lock on range in all aspects is 4.5 kilometers. Maximum overload is 18 Gs, and it goes at 1,000 meters per second. So this is not something you want to screw with. This is an incredibly powerful air-to-air missile, and also has an explosive mass of 3.2 kilos. So to deal with any target, that may be around the place, it's not a bad shout to fire out a Stinger. Of course, the G-LYNX has access to the NVIDIA, which is the night vision device, and since it's a premium, well, you get it for free. So let's just test that out for you, just to show you what that looks like, in all of the sites. Here we go. And this is what it looks like. So it's very similar to the sight that you see in the tanks, at least from a third-person point of view. What is nice is you have the RWR though in the bottom right-hand corner, so you can see where certain targets are and what is going to attack you, so you can try and lock on at your peril. Of course, we still have the stingers locked, so let's see if we can lock them on here. Come on. And there we go. That should actually hit that guy. So good night. And the gunners actually have thermals when it comes to the G-LYNX. So have a lot of fun with getting annihilated by helicopters in the middle of the night. Oops, that's the flare button. That's what flares look like at night. I think they look kind of nice. There you go. But yeah, have fun being annihilated by helicopters while you are, trying to do your general workload. You can see the whoops. Hello. Come on. Stop being silly. You can see the explosion there from the aircraft. And as we talked about, you have laser-guided hellfires. So anything that is around the place is pretty much going to get jammed on. Let's turn that off and fire. Oh, you don't feel like firing today, do you? Do I have to turn the laser off? Nope, still wants to fire it. I was having this issue before, and I'm not exactly sure what's causing it. I think it might be the fact that of where my helicopter is looking. So if I turn it here and then do this at these targets, will it fire? Yeah, there we go. So the problem was it wasn't set up properly, like it wasn't looking towards the target. But unfortunately, it's kind of hard to tell where where you're aiming in this mode unless you're looking in the bottom right. Also, the indicator is telling us about an SPAA because it's a radar warning device, so we can tell where AA is on the map now, meaning that so the little box in the bottom, it tells you that you are out of the zone of your fire control system. So if you turn it like this, then it will fire. So now, since we have the RWR's indicator, we can tell where AA is on the ground, meaning that we can target that first, like that, and be able to deal with, whatever is coming after us. Doesn't mean it's going to be the easiest thing to do, because of the fact that now everything has thermals. The problem with thermals is it's a two-way street. So it's much easier for me to see these vehicles, but at the same time, it's also much easier for these vehicles to see me. So it's going to be useful for targeting units, but it's also going to be annoying as hell from getting thermaled by many different vehicles. So that's going to have to be something that you think about, and with the fact that the Hellfires have over 1,000 millimeters worth of pen, and also I believe they doubled the explosive mass that is on board for these machines, which is kind of crazy. It's just going to be hell on earth for certain vehicles. Like, I kind of feel sorry for them in a way, because if you don't have an AA on the enemy team, and you're able to spawn in this first, which is obviously something that you can do at this level, all it seems that's going to happen is you're just going to get absolutely twatted by this thing at any level, and it's really the general problem with helicopters. It's kind of a feast or famine scenario, right? So you either can do really well in helicopters if your natural counters aren't there, so aircraft and SPAA, especially now with the Mistral one from like the Saddam, and also the Stingers coming into play, at least the air-to-air Stingers. I'm sure at some point we'll see them on the Gepard and stuff like that. So there is interesting things going on when it comes to the general balance between machines. But the problem you're always going to run into is the fact that if there are SPAAs, if there are other aircraft around, and you're not able to get Stinger Lock, which is kind of easy to do, so at least you have that going for you. But if there are SPAAs around, you're going to have to deal with them pretty quickly, or you're going to have proper job issues. And at least with the Hellfires, you do have that ability. You can see how the Hellfire goes up. So you still have two modes for the Hellfire. It's exactly the same as the other ones. It either goes up and then down, or it goes really low along the ground, depending on how far away from the target you are. So if you see here, you know, it goes up once again and then down. But that went a lot quicker than before. You can see it went down before it reached the target, so this one's going a lot lower. And it's really up to the missile itself and also the trajectory that you're firing at, what you're trying to hit. There also seems to be kind of a double, I don't know whether it's some kind of tandem warhead damage mechanic which is being added, but you can see the missile is going in, and then what's happening is it's not completely destroying itself, and it's going through and doing even more damage later on. So there's a lot of wonderful stuff which is happening with these Hellfires right now, meaning I would much rather take them over TOWs, and I think that was basically my fault when it came to that. But yeah, the main thing about the Lynx I haven't even really talked about is the fact that it's a fast vehicle. You know, it's one of the fastest helicopters in the game. You can do stuff like loops with ease with it, as you can see right now. Hey up, come on, turn over. And basically, because of that, you can just kind of throw yourself around and have a bit of fun with it, which is, at the end of the day, what you want to do in War Thunder. You want to have fun, you want to try new things, and definitely this aircraft lets you. Hello, what are you looking at, brother? That's right, look ahead. So, at all the times with the G-LYNX, the only thing that I'm sad about, I'm happy that it's here. What I'm sad about is it is just... It's another vehicle which is better than its tech tree equivalent, and it's a premium. And it's the one that you buy to get into, you know, the British helicopter tree. That's something I'm not really happy with, if I'm going to be honest. I would rather see a premium which is slightly worse than its tech tree equivalent. And I know some will argue that this is worse than it because of the less options, but this has all of the options that you're going to use on the other one anyway. So that's my only problem with it. Everything else, I'm very happy to see it. Hopefully at some point we get a crowning jewel, just like every other nation has, for a 10-0 vehicle, e.g. the Apache. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Ambrosius McClellan, B. Young, Blackie, Daniel Stanton, John Ryman, Joseph Anders, Martinez, Mopar 1969, Moxie, Super Cacti, Uyans Terry, and Elove Goats, and of course Seductive Trash Can, for supporting the channel.